I woke up in the body of the pathetic, disposable side character on the day of his 5th anniversary. My girlfriend, the CEO, took center stage and loudly announced that the Ether system, software I had spent 3 grueling years developing, was entirely the work of her intern assistant. Then came the kicker. She appointed the intern to replace me as vice president. The room erupted in thunderous applause. Seeing I was dazed, the CEO slapped me across the face. "Ethan Cole, everyone is congratulating Julian. Why the hell are you giving us that look?" I cracked a grin, grabbed her wrist, and backhanded her across the face. Then I did it again, and again, 10 times in rapid succession. Son of a bitch. Did she really think I was just some pushover? Joke's on her. The system was never finished. It was riddled with holes. This garbage company can wait to be buried right alongside this stupid woman. The annual gala hadn't even officially started yet. My old subordinates from the R&D department flooded into my office. "Mr. Cole, it's a disaster. We heard Victoria is giving credit for the Ether project to that intern, Julian Ash. She's making him VP. Isn't that your job? If the credit goes to that pretty boy, what happens to our hard work over the last 3 years? What about our bonuses? Victoria is being dirty. She's burning the bridge after crossing the river." I looked at their red-rimmed eyes and grim expressions. I smiled and gave them a reassuring look. "Relax. I was prepared for this. No matter what happens, I won't let your hard work go to waste. If Victoria Sterling won't pay your bonuses, I will." The truth was, I had transmigrated into this world 3 days ago. The software system was already unstable. I just went in and tweaked it. On the surface, it looked fine, but I had rewritten the underlying source code. It would run for a week, tops, before suffering a catastrophic paralysis. The actual, functioning version of the system was safely stored on my private drive. Since this CEO girlfriend wanted to play games, I figured I'd entertain her. In the original novel, the original host body spent those 3 days fixing every bug in the system. He planned to propose to Victoria Sterling at the gala today. He never expected that his CEO girlfriend would publicly hand the credit for the Ether project to her little assistant and give him the VP role. Afterward, Victoria gaslighted him. "Ethan, the company needs fresh blood. We need to give young people a chance. Julian is talented, and he suffered a lot growing up. He hasn't been here long, and people look down on him. Just let him have this win. For years, the company relied on you, and it breaks my heart to see you work so hard. I just wanted to find someone to share your burden. Besides, you're a shareholder and my boyfriend. Worst case scenario, once we go public, I'll marry you." The original Ethan was a doormat. One sweet word for Victoria, and he folded. He even helped this toxic woman calm down the R&D team. But right before the IPO, the original Ethan was framed by Victoria and that green tea mail manipulator for embezzlement and sent to prison. Countless readers spammed the comments section cheering it on, saying the romance between the CEO and her puppy dog assistant was to die for. They called the original Ethan a stumbling block and cheered when the evil side character finally got locked up. They even praised the main couple for being so smart. I was the only one in the comments section cussing them out. You could say the company's IPO was entirely due to the original guy's blood, sweat, and tears. And this was his reward. Just because he was passive, did he deserve to be bullied? I cursed the author's ancestors back 18 generations. Then my vision went black, and here I am. So, naturally, I had to play along. 30 minutes later, the annual gala officially commenced. Victoria Sterling stood on stage in a sharp pink power suit, radiating energy and glamour. Standing next to her was Julian Ash, his wrist casually displaying the $1 million Patek Philippe Victoria had bought him. He shot smug glances at me every few seconds. The original Ethan was truly tragic. They dated for 5 years, and Victoria only gave him token gifts on his birthday, never worth more than a few $100. Yet she dropped $1 million on a watch for an intern. When Sterling Dynamics was teetering on the edge of bankruptcy, if Ethan hadn't brought his R&D team in to save it, it would have folded years ago. Victoria Sterling was a bona fide ingrate. I sat in the front row, watching the scene coldly. Over the past 3 years, development on the Ether project stalled. Victoria's voice echoed through the microphone. This forces me to conclude that a certain someone's negligence led to this situation. Although she didn't name names, everyone knew she meant me. The entire room turned to look at me, some with disdain, others with schadenfreude. My expression didn't change, but I was laughing internally. Victoria really had no shame, stepping on her boyfriend to prop up Julian. Sure enough, her tone shifted, her eyes softening as she looked at Julian. Fortunately, a young, gifted intern joined us, Julian Ash. In just 3 short months, he helped the company overcome technical barriers and brought the Ether system to life. This is all Julian's achievement. He is the greatest hero of Sterling Dynamics. The crowd went into an uproar. People whispered furiously. How could a massive project be credited solely to an intern? Anyone with eyes could see Victoria was pushing Julian with everything she had. This intern of 3 months was about to ascend to heaven in a single step. Behind me, the R&D team's faces turned ashen. Their fists were clenched tight. Victoria ignored the commotion and continued. To recognize Julian's outstanding contribution, the board has decided. She paused, glanced at me, and said, to appoint him as Vice President of Sterling Dynamics, in charge of R&D. The room exploded, especially those who hadn't heard the rumors. They froze. They guessed she favored the intern, but to this extent, I was the VP of R&D and her boyfriend. Now, she was giving my job to an intern. All eyes fell on me again. Sympathy, mockery, but mostly amusement at my expense. Victoria picked up a large trophy from the podium and looked at me. Ethan, come up here and present this award to Julian. Behind me, the veins on my team members' foreheads were bulging. They stood up in anger. This was a naked humiliation. Victoria called my name several times. When I didn't move, her face turned ugly. She stomped over in her high heels, her voice rising aggressively. Ethan Cole, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf? Who are you giving that corpse-like stare to? She raised her hand to slap me. I let out a cold laugh and caught her wrist in a vice grip. Damn it, this toxic trash wanted to slap me again. If I let you hit me, I'll take your last name. Under her shocked gaze, I grabbed her by the throat. I squeezed tighter, choking her. This woman had spent the last 3 nights calling me hubby and telling me how amazing I was. Now, she was dragging my dignity through the mud in public. Ruthless indeed. The original Ethan spoiled her rotten, which is why she acted so brazenly. Victoria, for 5 years, I didn't just lead the team to build your products. I ran around securing contracts to boost your sales. Now that Sterling Dynamics is big, you want to burn the bridge? You find an intern to humiliate me? My team of over a dozen people worked on this for 3 years. With one sentence, you erase all our efforts. You scumbag, did I give you too much respect? I finished speaking and backhanded her across the face 10 times. The more I slapped, the better I felt, my strikes getting heavier. Victoria was stunned. When she processed what was happening, she screamed. Ethan Cole, are you crazy? You dare hit me? The crowd was dumbfounded. No one expected the submissive VP to snap. Was this the same pushover? Stop. Stop it right now. Julian screamed and tried to rush over. But he was blocked by my R&D team. Security guards rushed in, but were also walled off by my guys. Victoria's face swelled up visibly. Her eyes were filled with disbelief and rage. Ethan, you actually hit me? I'm calling the police. I'll send you to jail. I had planned to let her go, but hearing her threat, I slapped her 2 more times hard. Victoria saw stars and collapsed to the floor. Gone was the high and mighty CEO, pointing fingers from stage. I looked down at her coldly. Victoria, everyone in the industry knows my team built this project for 3 years. Call the cops if you want. The Ether system just launched. If this blows up, the scandal will be everywhere. I have nothing to lose. I don't care about the company's reputation. Worst case, I get detained for a few days. But the shares I hold, well, I think the Vance family might be very interested. Hearing about the shares, Victoria's face finally changed. The Vances were Sterling Dynamics' #1 competitor. 5 years ago, Sterling almost went under because of the Vance family's maneuvering. She stared at me in disbelief, unable to fathom that I would treat her this way. Seeing I was serious, Victoria panicked, her face draining of color. She scrambled up and grabbed my arm. No, you can't sell the shares to the Vances. Her tone finally softened. Ethan, it's really not what you think. Julian is just capable. I only wanted to help him out a little. Can't you be understanding for once? I sneered at her, blunt and unforgiving. Victoria, do you believe that garbage yourself? He's capable? In 3 months, has he closed a single deal? When he interned in R&D, he messed up basic data entry. You call that capable? Tell me, where is he strong? I leaned in close, staring into her eyes. Is he strong at kissing your ass, or strong at keeping you company while you party? Victoria's eyes darted around, her lips trembling, unable to form a sentence. I straightened up, adjusted my suit, and spoke indifferently. Victoria, we were together for 5 years. Did you really take me for a fool? She frantically grabbed my hand again. Ethan, I can explain. Let's go home and talk, okay? I shook her off impatiently. Don't give me that crap. I have 20% of the shares. I'll sell them to you for $100 million. I'm giving you 1 minute to decide. Otherwise, I'll talk to the Vance. I'm sure their offer would be significantly higher. Actually, at current market value, 20% was worth about $80 million. But whether it was the Sterlings or the Vance, they would pay a premium. $100 million was basically all of Sterling Dynamics' liquid capital. The original Ethan was brain dead for focusing on love. Isn't money sweeter? Victoria's face turned ghastly pale. 100 million? You know the company needs money right now. We can't pull out that much cash. 50 seconds left. I glanced at my watch, my voice devoid of emotion. She clenched her fists until her nails dug into her flesh. The hall was dead silent. Everyone's eyes were glued to us. 30 seconds. 25 seconds. Just as I turned to leave, Victoria finally broke. I'll pay, okay? At that moment, Julian charged over, his face twisted in anger. Ethan Cole, this is extortion. You're supposed to be Victoria's boyfriend. What kind of man forces her hand like this? I signaled the R&D guys to let him through. The moment Julian reached me, I dropped him with a single punch. Then I stomped hard on his stomach twice. Julian curled up like a shrimp, his face turning green, unable to speak. Victoria tried to hug me to stop me, but I shoved her to the ground. I pointed at her and roared. Victoria Sterling, your dog upset me. 110 million. Damn it, not a penny less. I went back to kicking Julian. She looked at Julian, who was sweating from pain, then at me acting like a lunatic. She finally crumbled. Gritting her teeth, she forced the words out. I'll pay. 110 million. I'll transfer it now. That's more like it. I let Julian go and sat back in my seat as if nothing happened, waiting for the transfer. In the entire venue, no employee dared to breathe loudly. The look in their eyes had shifted to fear. It's true what they say. Kind people get bullied. Tame horses get ridden. 30 minutes later, the money hit my account. I happily signed the share transfer agreement. At that moment, Victoria dropped the act. She stared at me with red, hateful eyes. Ethan Cole, get out. Take your people and get the hell out of my company. You're all fired. I shrugged indifferently. After confirming my team got their severance packages, I led them out the door, heads held high. Sterling Dynamics was about to implode. Only an idiot would stay. Marcus Thorne, the R&D supervisor, hurried to catch up with me once we were outside. Mr. Cole, what do we do now? I looked at their expectant faces, knowing exactly what they were thinking. They wanted to follow me and do something big. After all, I held the core data. Once we set up a company and upgraded the system, we'd save massive amounts of dev time. We'd be on track instantly. This system didn't exist in the market yet. Its performance was light years ahead. Once released, it would be a blockbuster. I smiled, scanning every face. The R&D department had 15 people. 5 were new hires who didn't come with us. The 10 here were the veterans who came to Sterling with the original Ethan. Any one of them could run a division. Relax. I know what you're thinking. The new company will be up and running soon. I've already picked the location. Let's go take a look. The group cheered, ran to their cars, and followed me to the new headquarters. I had secured the lease on my second day here, paying the deposit up front. We held our first meeting at the new company. The agenda: bonuses. Originally, the project bonus was $50,000 per person. I doubled it. I gave them each $1 million. After all, the extra $10 million I extorted from Victoria covered it. Using that money to buy loyalty, I didn't feel a pinch of regret. Looking at the $1 million deposits hitting their accounts, the team was ecstatic. Marcus stood up, trembling with excitement. Mr. Cole, this is too much. I waved my hand. You earned it. Sterling owed you. I'm making it right. Just stick with me, and I'll never let my brothers lose out. Everyone was hyped, eyes filled with gratitude. I pulled Marcus aside. Marcus, hire a private investigator. I want eyes on Julian Ash. Any movement, report to me. You got it, Mr. Cole. For the next month, we went all out building the new company. Registration, renovations, recruiting, training. We were spinning like tops. During this time, the Vance family called me, offering double my Sterling salary to work for them. Their heiress, Serena Vance, even invited me to dinner. I declined directly. We had the team, the project, and the capital. Why work for someone else? Victoria was quiet for that month, probably fuming. Then, shortly after I returned to my office from a meeting, Marcus ran and holding a tablet, looking frantic but excited. Mr. Cole, Sterling Dynamics imploded. The system crashed completely. It's just a mass of garbled code. It's all over the business news. I just asked a former colleague. After we left, Victoria hired a new tech team, but they can't fix the crash. Victoria is furious and fired half of them. Rumor has it she's looking for industry gurus to patch it, but no one can figure it out. If this keeps up, Sterling is done for. That was good news. I leaned back in my chair and laughed. Sterling brought this on themselves. The show is just getting started. The team spent 3 years building that system. Did she think it was an easy fix? Now that the Ether protocol had collapsed, fixing it would be harder than rebuilding it from scratch. Soon, Victoria's call started coming in like crazy. I didn't even think about it. Hung up, blocked. I didn't come from a romance novel. Why answer a call I don't want to take? That night, I got home to find Victoria waiting at my door. She was wearing a pink business suit, makeup still perfect, but she couldn't hide the exhaustion in her brow. Seeing me, she rushed over angrily. Ethan, why aren't you answering my calls? You blocked me. I looked at her with amusement. Why should I answer your calls? Victoria Fronev, Enoiv. Ethan, I know you're jealous of Julian. How many times do I have to tell you? It's strictly professional between us. I just looked out for him a little. Is that a crime? I scoffed, cutting her off. Yeah, strictly professional. Just looked out for him. Victoria, I was 2 minutes late to work, and on Julian's suggestion, you docked my entire month's salary. Julian intentionally skipped work for half a day, leaving a client waiting and costing us a $3 million contract. You said he had personality and rewarded him with $1 million watch. You sent him to R&D to learn, and he messed up the most basic data. I simply reminded him not to do it again. And what did you do? You forced me to apologize to him in front of the entire company. You said I was relying on my seniority to bully the new intern. And you warned me that if there was a next time, you wouldn't let me off. The original Ethan really was a wimp. In front of Victoria, he didn't dare make a sound. If I had arrived earlier, I would have gotten physical to teach them how to behave. Watching Victoria's face turn uglier by the second, I continued. Victoria, my entire tech team worked their asses off for 3 years on that system. Without a word, you gave all the credit to that pretty boy. You let him take my VP job. You say you just looked out for him, and you're innocent. Say that out loud. Who the hell would believe you? Tell me. Victoria opened her mouth, lips moving, but not a single word came out. She shifted her gaze, afraid to look me in the eye. I stepped around her, reaching for my door handle. Victoria panicked, lunging to block my path. Okay, fine. Ethan, I know what I did before was a little excessive, but you've made your point. The system is down, and you need to go back and fix it right now. I laughed, genuinely angry at her entitlement. Victoria Sterling, my team and are fired by you personally. Your system crashes, and you think I'm obligated to fix it? I'm telling you, get lost. Don't make me slap you again. Hearing the threat of violence, she instinctively stepped back, covering her cheek. I couldn't be bothered with her. I opened the door and walked in. Slam. I shut it hard. Victoria wouldn't give up. She pounded on the door like a drum. Ethan Cole, you bastard. Open this door. Even if you're upset, there's a limit. You're just jealous. You're a grown man. Can't you be the bigger person? Ethan, if you don't open up, I swear I'll never speak to you again. I dialed building security immediately. I instructed them to ban her from the complex. Victoria screamed curses as she was dragged away by the guards. Over the next period, Sterling Dynamics went from bad to worse. Revenue plummeted. They were facing massive breach of contract penalties. Victoria tried to intercept me everywhere. The complex gate, my usual restaurants, even the lobby of my new office building. Luckily, I had brief security, so she never made it upstairs. Just as I arrived at the office one morning, my phone rang. Unknown number. I thought for 2 seconds and answered. Our business was expanding. It could be a partner. But the next second, Victoria's frantic voice shrieked through the speaker. Ethan, why are you hiding from me? Get back here immediately. If the system isn't fixed, the company is going under. I laughed. Ms. Sterling, your company going under. What does that have to do with me? On the other end, Victoria sounded even more enraged, her breathing heavy. Ethan, how can it have nothing to do with you? You built the system. You have a responsibility to see it through. My tone dripped with sarcasm. Ms. Sterling, did you forget? Didn't Julian build that system? Every employee at Sterling Dynamics can testify to that. If there's a problem, call him. Why call me? You're delusional. I hung up without waiting for a response. Blocked. Sunday night, I was invited to a business gala. I ran into Victoria right at the entrance. She wore a red evening gown that hugged her figure. Despite the exquisite makeup, she couldn't hide the fatigue. She looked haggard. Seeing me, the arrogance was gone, replaced by a pathetic, pleading look. She grabbed my hand. Ethan, can we talk? I shook her off. Ms. Sterling, I don't think we have anything to talk about. I was wrong, Ethan. Please don't treat me like this. Her eyes reddened. Julian and I really have nothing going on. For years, people said Sterling Dynamics was built by you. That without you, we'd have folded. I just wanted to prove them wrong. To show that Sterling could survive an IPO without you. I promoted Julian just to make you jealous. Nothing happened between us. I was wrong, Ethan. Come back. Give me one more chance, okay? I swear I'll never treat you like that again. I still love you, Ethan. Her eyes were full of tears, looking up at me expectantly. She looked pitiful, but her words only felt incredibly ironic. Love me? I curled my lip, mocking her. Victoria, your love is treating me like a stepping stone? Treating my team like idiots and handing my work to your boy toy? Your love is docking my pay and forcing me to apologize while I work my fingers to the bone for your company? And finally kicking me to the curb? Now you say you were wrong? Don't you think it's a little late? Victoria, you disgust me. I walked away toward the ballroom. Victoria tried to chase me, but Serena Vance glided over, smiling with pure venom. If it isn't Ms. Sterling, what's wrong? You kicked the man out, and now you're begging like a dog for forgiveness? You have thick skin. The Sterlings and Vance were bitter enemies. Victoria's face turned green. She glared at Serena. None of your business. Serena, don't kick me while I'm down. Even if Sterling has problems, it's not the Vance place to laugh. Serena's smile widened. Oh, really? I'm dying to see how Sterling recovers from this. Victoria gritted her teeth. Don't worry about it, Ms. Vance. Serena ignored her and quickened her pace, naturally linking her arm through mine. Mr. Cole, you really are heartless. I've tried to invite you to dinner 3 times, and you wouldn't give me the time of day. I turned to look at Serena. She was every bit as stunning as Victoria, perhaps more so, with long, pale legs that demanded attention. Victoria watched this scene, eyes practically spitting fire. But with the crowd watching, she couldn't make a scene. I knew Serena was being intimate just to piss off Victoria. I was happy to play along. I smiled. Dinner's boring. How about I eat you instead? Serena froze for a split second. A blush crept up her cheeks, but she was composed. She frowned slightly but didn't get angry. Mr. Cole certainly knows how to joke. Rumor has it you only had eyes for Victoria and were gentle as a lamb. Rumors seem to be wrong. I hinted darkly. Likewise. They say Ms. Vance is a proper lady, pure and dignified. Yet here you're playing games. Rumors really can't be trusted. Serena stiffened. She stared at me, wide-eyed. Mr. Cole, what do you mean? I found a seat, and Serena sat next to me. Nothing much. I heard the Vance family has an illegitimate child who is quite favored. Must be annoying for you. What? You used me once, and you won't use me again. My Orion platform hadn't launched yet, but a dozen major core were already negotiating with me. The Sterling Ether launch caused a splash, and its subsequent crash caused a panic. Industry insiders knew I was the architect of both. Serena had been asking me to dinner constantly. Her goal was obvious. Hearing this, Serena's expression shifted dramatically, but she recovered quickly, laughing softly. Mr. Cole is a smart man. Elik is smart man. I apologize for any previous maneuvers, but this time I sincerely want to collaborate. Are you willing to be used by me? My gaze lingered on her legs. Coincidentally, I also like dealing with smart people. It depends on if your sincerity is enough. Serena smiled charmingly, uncrossing and crossing her legs elegantly. Mr. Cole, do you like my legs? Nice to look at, but frustrating if I can't touch. Serena tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. She bit her lip, making a decision. Mr. Cole, this gala is boring. My place has some excellent vintage wine. Want to taste it? My honor. As Serena and I walked out to the car, Victoria, who had been watching us, chased us out. Her eyes were filled with rage and disbelief. Her red-rimmed eyes stared as she slapped the car window. Ethan, you can't go with her. Get out of the car. Have you forgotten our 5 years together? Ethan. She turned her rage on Serena. Serena, you bitch. Don't think I don't know what you're planning. Seeing Victoria break down, Serena looked triumphant. She smiled, gave a little wave, and slammed on the gas. The car shot forward. Victoria lost her balance and fell, crying hysterically in the driveway. The moment we entered the Vance villa, we were on each other. We kissed our way into the bedroom. Clothes were scattered everywhere. It was a long, sleepless night on the battlefield. Business is business. The next day, Serena wanted me to sign an exclusive partnership. I refused flat out. This woman was ruthless, Did she think I'd give up the whole forest for one tree? In the end, I signed a priority partnership agreement. I would wait 2 months after her launch to work with other companies. I didn't refuse that. It was a win-win. She needed those 2 months to seize market share. I needed her to succeed to drive up my valuation for future deals. I could tell she wanted better terms, but she gritted her teeth and signed. Wearing a silk robe, she leaned lazily against the desk in her study. Ethan Cole, you are a shrewd businessman. No sentiment at all. Right back at you. I adjusted my suit. Ms. Vance seemed to enjoy the transaction last night. She blushed and rolled her eyes at me. Incredibly alluring. Leaving the Vance estate, I went straight to the office. Marcus was waiting, looking anxious. Mr. Cole, bad news. Victoria and Julian are doing a live stream press conference. They're claiming the Ether system was your design. They're saying the crash is your fault, that you fled with the core team and code, which is gross negligence. Predictable. I opened the stream. Victoria was crying, denouncing my bad behavior. A wave of bots was flooding the chat, calling me trash. Tens of thousands were watching, and the heat was rising. In 10 minutes, it was trending locally. Clueless netizens were flooding the Nebula Systems website with hate. I watched Victoria's tear-stained face on the screen, drumming my fingers on the desk. I wasn't panicked. Marcus was red-eyed with worry. Mr. Cole, public opinion is killing us. If we don't clarify, our reputation is toast. I waved him down. I watched coldly. Julian stood next to Victoria, acting furious. He shouted at the camera. Ethan Cole used Sterling resources to build Ether. Now that it crashed, he ran away with the tech and started a new company. Scum like him should be blacklisted from the industry. The chat exploded. Ethan Cole, get out of tech. Nebula Systems is a scam. Cancel Ethan Cole. The hate spam was endless. Julian kept shouting. Victoria stepped out of the frame. Seconds later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Victoria. Her voice was smug. Ethan, if you agree to fix the system, I can clarify things on the live stream for you. I laughed. Oh, really? Don't bother, Ms. Sterling. She panicked. Ethan, I'm doing this for you. Don't be ungrateful. I didn't waste breath. Hung up. I opened our official site and uploaded the video of the staff meeting, the gala where she fired me. Being in a female lead world, I had to be prepared. Apologize. Public opinion flipped instantly. The netizens who had been used as weapons turned their rage on the stream. The internet was flooded with curses aimed at them. Victoria and Julian panicked, stuttering, unable to explain, and abruptly ended the stream. Later, users exposed that Victoria and Ethan were a couple, but she had an ambiguous relationship with Julian, the intern. Someone compiled a list of all the ridiculous things Victoria did for Julian and posted it. The internet melted down. A boycott of Sterling products began. Victoria and Julian became pariahs. Sterling Dynamics, already broke and facing lawsuits, was crushed by the last straw of public outrage. For the next 3 days, Sterling was under siege. Vendors and partners surrounded the building demanding money. I left work and headed to the parking garage. As I reached for my door handle, Victoria lunged out from the shadows like a crazy person. She scared the hell out of me. She tried to hug me, but I shoved her away. She collapsed on the concrete, looking up with messy hair and tear-filled eyes. She knelt, begging, Ethan, I was wrong. Help me, please. Sterling is the only thing my dad left me. It's gonna die. Help me one last time. I know I was wrong. I looked at her with zero pity. Victoria, you don't know you were wrong. You just know you're finished. I unscrewed the water bottle in my hand and poured it over her head. My voice was ice. When you did those disgusting things, did you ever think this day would come? Victoria let the cold water run down her face. She crawled forward and grabbed my pant leg. Ethan, for the sake of our 5 years. Help me, please. Sentiment, I scoffed. Do you deserve to use that word? Victoria, keep some dignity. Get the hell away from me. She sobbed uncontrollably. If you save the company, I'll do anything. I really know I was wrong. I already fired Julian. Come back, okay? I leaned down, grabbed her chin, and forced her to look at me. I smirked. Victoria, do you know why you ended up like this? Because you're stupid. Because you were played like a fiddle. Victoria, you are a moron. I let go of her and threw a stack of photos Marcus had given me in her face. Victoria stared at the photos scattered on the ground, her pupils shrinking. They were pictures of Julian and Serena secretly meeting. Coffee shops, rooftops, movie theaters. Looking conspiratorial. Victoria snapped. How can this be? Impossible. How is Julian working for Serena? Ethan, you're lying to me, right? I stood up slowly, my smile widening. As expected, only your enemy truly understands you. It seems your preferences and your inner thoughts were studied perfectly by your rival. Victoria, you're pathetic. She looked dazed, her eyes losing focus. So, the kindness, the flattering, it was all fake. Even the story about him suffering as a child was a lie. I added, he's actually a distant relative of the Vance family. Just a pawn for Serena. Victoria let out a blood-curdling scream and collapsed. I didn't look back. I got in my car, floored it, and left her in the dust. 3 days later, Sterling Dynamics declared bankruptcy. Victoria completely lost her mind. She drove her car straight into Julian. Julian spun in the air 4 or 5 times before hitting the ground, dead on impact. Victoria was arrested. In the original book, she and Julian ended up together. Serena had threatened Julian multiple times to steal secrets, but he refused. Victoria found out, forgave him, and they got their happy ending. Readers swooned over their love. But why did I, the side character, have to die? Why did I deserve to be framed and sent to prison? The Orion platform launched, triggering a seismic shift in the tech world. I spent 3 years building Nebula Systems into a global powerhouse, a $100 billion empire. Serena proposed a marriage alliance multiple times. I refused every time. She was the villain in the book. Why would I give up the whole forest for a poisonous snake? Under my covert pressure, the Vance family empire gradually declined. Victoria sent me a letter from prison. Just 2 words, I'm sorry. When I received it, I was vacationing on a beach with a young model. I tossed the letter into the trash without a second thought. Don't interrupt me while I'm admiring the model's sexy abs and long, white legs. Story complete.